Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Gracious good morning to you, good people. It's your girl KB. You know what I do and you know why I do it. It is Tuesday morning, April 22nd, and it's 3:42 in the a.m. And I just want to put this out here for anyone who is inclined to listen. I know our YouTube channel is entitled Church Mouse Ministry. I know I share socio-political information on stated YouTube channel. You need to know that when I share this information, it is a form of social justice information because something is happening. There's a movement going on that people need to be aware of and people need to educate themselves too. Amen. And this is why I share socio-political information. Liberation theology is letting people know that they are free and what their freedoms are. And I will continue to talk about social justice. That being said, this is to the media in general. This is to, more specifically, the people, the elected officials who are in charge of making government decisions based on the votes of the people. You need to wake up and do your job. You need to wake up and adhere to the Constitution. Stop telling me, I'm speaking for me, that no one is above the law, including the president, when that is an obvious untruth at the moment. First of all, how do you go about being president when you don't take the ethics oath? How do you go about being president when you've been impeached twice? How do you go about being president when you have 34 felony convictions? I'll just wait on that. Now, we're at a place where the man is in contempt of court. But you continue to tell me that no one is above the law. There's some hidden information out there about people being deported and sent to gulags. Yeah, and that's what they are. Yeah, you've been deported, you've been denied due process, and you're imprisoned outside of the place that you were convicted. How does that work? Doesn't there have to be a formal extradition process in order for that to happen? And in the extradition process, you're convicted of a crime in the country that you're incarcerated in? I'm no lawyer, and that's obvious. But, you know, there's some things that are happening that aren't right. You know? There's some crimes being committed. Manipulating the stock market. Now, some of you are applauding the money-making process. Get your money. I'm going to say that. Get your money. But not at the expense of other people's retirement funds. Because that's what's happening. And a lot of folks who are applauding the money-making process, fail to realize that their long-term stability has been compromised. Okay. So you need to educate yourselves on how this is working. Some of you who are close to retirement age need to pull up your pension and see how much you lost with the stock market, because that's what your pension is based on. Because your pension is in investments. That part. But many of you didn't know that. Now, in the latest move, first we've cut the venues for education. See, a critical thinker might be able to challenge. So I'm going to cut that off. So you're no longer allowed to have access to the information that could challenge me. Okay, you can only read what I tell you can read. Now we've had some financial isolation. Yeah. How do you say, I'm going to put tariffs on imports in order to make life better and people to buy domestic goods when we don't have an industry anymore? We make very little in this country. You know, the one thing that made the country rich, there were a couple of industries actually. The auto industry and the steel industry, both of which got too expensive, and it just changed the face of major cities, and it changed the face of American industry. That part. But there were people who were applauding the capitalism. Now, here's another sneaky move. The Supreme Court, the ruling authority, the systems of checks and balances is under attack. And it was designed in a way where certain judges were appointed in order to solidify an agenda. You know, folks are playing chess on some levels, but they got a tic-tac-toe person as the talking head. Now, those are two different games. But I want to say the people who are making the maneuverings and the decisions for the maneuverings and the money behind the maneuverings, they know what they're doing. Just ask Clarence Thomas. Now the Supreme Court is under attack and may be silenced. The statement was, we cannot give everybody a trial. That sounds like my constitutional rights are going to be attacked.